Hello everyone and welcome back to Politics Now, where I talk about modern politics in modern America. And today we're going to be talking about the absolute train wreck so far that has been the DeSantis 2024 campaign and how basically Trump has it in the bag. He doesn't have a reason to join the first debate, and it's just completely over for all the other candidates, especially if he doesn't join the first debate. Then DeSantis 2024, it's going to fall into third place. Pence might take the helm. I mean, he is the furthest up, not by much, but yeah, DeSantis could easily fall into third place and be overtaken by all these other candidates down here who really have 5 or 3 points and really aren't actual contenders for the nomination and only help to destroy the DeSantis campaign and any chance that he has to win. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, ever since the indictments have been rolling out against Donald Trump, it's not been going well for DeSantis. Trump got a major boost first indictment. He's still up there a little bit, but it's looking pretty bad. He's still up 26 points. And then more indictments show up. Oops, another boost. And another one. Oops. And it just sort of has middled out, and he is stuck at 21 while Trump is cruising around 53 to 55%. And the most recent one, he's up 32.4 points, and that is not doing very well because if he has that much of a lead on you, you're not really going to have any chance of winning, and especially since he's actually going down. He is not going up. He got a little bit of a boost, but he didn't really get that much in early June, and then it just slumped back down to normal levels, and it is going farther and farther down. He's at 24 points, and now he's around 20.6. That is not doing that well, especially since you're kind of reaching the point where any of these other candidates who are at 5 or 6 points, they could easily take your second place spot, but you're still not going to win. And if you keep trekking on forward, it's not going to go that well. And it's likely that Trump doesn't join the first debate, which would be a very good strategic move, because if Trump doesn't join the first debate, none of the other candidates have anything to focus on except DeSantis. He will be in the hot seat, and everyone will just be firing, just firing stuff at him, and that will definitely weaken his campaign. And then Trump will probably come in for the next debate and just completely lay the smack on DeSantis, because he's already been destroyed through the first debate, and then Trump sort of delivers the finishing move on the campaign, and he falls to third place. It's a pretty good strategy for Trump, and he's likely to do it. We already see it going into motion where he's not going to join the first debate, likely. We think he's not, but he might. He might join the debate, but his poll numbers say that he really doesn't need to. There are no upsides for him joining the first debate. There are a ton of upsides if he doesn't join the first debate but joins the second. You could finish DeSantis off and eliminate your major competition and secure that nomination. But right now, joining the first debate only presents downsides for Trump, and it really presents only downsides for DeSantis if Trump doesn't join, because then he is the number one target, and everyone is going to be dogpiling on him, and the entire debate is basically just going to be picking apart DeSantis 2024 until it's very weak. And then if Trump shows up to the second debate fired and ready and just lays the smack on DeSantis, that's going to look very bad. I mean, I could only imagine how a DeSantis campaign would look if he got destroyed in the first debate because he was in the hot seat and then got absolutely KO'd by Trump in the second. It would be entertaining to watch, but yeah, it's really killing DeSantis' chance at securing the nomination. And the indictments kind of already killed his chances, because he went from a pretty close lead. It wasn't that close, but after the midterms, he was within 15 points, and then now he is double that length, and he has double the gap to secure, which you would need about half of Trump's supporters to vote DeSantis, and that really isn't realistic at all. Because imagine taking away half of somebody's base when they're in the lead and don't really do anything to lose half of their base. You're not going to get that. And you have all of these other candidates who are most likely taking a lot of voters from you, and they're not dropping out of the race anytime soon. Maybe when the actual primary starts, they might drop out of the race early on, but a lot of them who are maybe 5 or 4 points, they will probably stay in the race for a little while longer, and that's not going to help you when you're going through Super Tuesday, you're going through the first 4 states, Iowa. You don't want that in Iowa because it's an inevitability that all of these candidates will probably be running in Iowa. He's likely to lose Iowa. New Hampshire rolls around. They'll probably still stay in. He's likely to lose New Hampshire. He has a better chance in New Hampshire, but he still is very, very likely to lose it because Trump has such a massive edge over DeSantis because he has a 32.4 lead, and you can't really win the nomination when you're under 50%. Hillary Clinton, she had under 50% in 2008, and she lost the campaign. She didn't even get those numbers. And what do you know? She lost the nomination to Barack Obama. And she was close to 50%. Imagine losing and getting the campaign at 20%. That's impossible. You can't get that. Imagine winning a nomination in a party where the polls say that you have a fifth of the support. It's not even like a close race like with the polls with even 2016. 2016, the polls were very wrong, but still, Trump was within like 5 points, so it wasn't that big of a difference. But there's a difference between polls being biased towards Democrats in a 2016 election with Barack Obama as the current president, with Trump being a very hated candidate for Democrats, and a 5-point lead on Hillary. You can't have that when it's a primary and your other opponent is scoring 32 points above you. The bias is not going to clear out 32 points. At best, it will clear out 2.4 points, but that's still a 30-point lead. That isn't going to change anything. And if you look at all of these polls down here that are reporting it, I think there's only one that actually says that DeSantis is up, and that's CNN. If CNN is the only news source that is polling where you're up, that's not a very good sign. That if none of these other polling stations, which also really get stuff wrong a lot, are even considering that you might be up, outside of CNN, which is probably the least trustworthy polling, it's not going to work out well. Especially when you have the more honest polls up here, like Harvard-Harris. That's probably one of the more honest polls. He's up 45 points. And then you have Emerson. It works out most of the time. He's still up 38 to 34 points. It's just not going to work out. You're not going to win. And if the strategy of wait till the second debate for the other candidates to lay the smack on DeSantis, it's not going to work out well. Your poll numbers are going to drop even more. And you have the possibility of losing Florida. He already has the possibility of losing his home state. But if you get absolutely destroyed on the debate stage, you're definitely going to lose Florida. And that's what he's waiting for. That will be the end of DeSantis 2024 if he loses Florida. It would be like the candidates in 2016 when they lost South Carolina to Trump. It's just not going to work out. It's going to completely destroy your campaign and completely tank confidence that you can actually win. Especially when you've already lost every single state before that, which is likely for DeSantis, that he loses every single state leading up to Florida to Trump. And then you get to Florida, and Trump also wins that. It's just not gonna work out. And yeah, after the debates, I could totally see DeSantis pulling in 15, maybe 10%, while all these other candidates get a little bit of a boost, where one of them overtakes DeSantis but is still pulling 15%, while Trump gets maybe a little bit of a boost. He'll probably stay at the same level because he can't really go that far up, but he's probably not going to go that far down given the current circumstances. And honestly, it would be a pretty smart idea that DeSantis just calls it quits, throw in the towel before you completely embarrass yourself. But we know that the people running his campaign won't do that. We know that they're idiots. The people running his campaign are complete just dumbasses. They're just all dumb. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what they're up against. And it's really just going to hurt DeSantis that a lot of these people do not have his best interest at heart and are really just destroying his political career because they hate Trump that much and they don't like his policies. So they'll be willing to support a candidate that really has no chance of winning. That's a lot of the DeSantis base. They just don't like Trump, and they will support him even if he's polling at 15%. They will still support him. They are that strongly opposed to Trump. Even if he could be polling at like 1 point, and they would still support him. It doesn't make any sense. They are just so desperate to see Trump lose, but it's not realistic. It's not realistic at all. Especially if you have the debate debacle where he gets absolutely destroyed by the 2 debates and just completely loses control of that campaign and loses Florida. It's just going to be a major embarrassment. And I could totally see him never winning office again. He could probably run for president again, but he would be one of these candidates who are polling at 3%. Maybe he would pull at 5% at one point because people think, oh, he could definitely take it now that Trump is out of the picture, but then all the other bigger fish just sort of duke it out, and DeSantis just has to sit there with 3% like Tim Scott. And yeah, imagine being relegated to the area of Chris Christie. You're getting poll numbers on par with him, but that's just what happens when you have a major embarrassment like this, where you're still fighting even though you have 20% in the polls. It doesn't make sense. But that's really the DeSantis campaign in a single sentence. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's it. DeSantis really should just throw in the towel, give up. Honestly, just focus on Florida. Get some office in maybe the Senate or the House. It's really not working out for him. Find something that you can win, because honestly, he should have waited till 2020, and there's so much invested into the DeSantis 2024 campaign that he really can't pull out. But I feel like a lot of people who are on the inside of the campaign want to pull out, but there's just too much invested into it. The Republican Party, who opposes Trump, they have thrown so much money just to try and get him to lose the nomination, and that's wasted money that we could be focusing on defeating Joe Biden. And yeah, that's probably, sidetrack, but that is probably the reason why the Republican Party is not that good at winning elections as compared to Democrats. They waste all of their money on the stupidest shit possible because they hold grudges that just doesn't make sense electorally. You hold so much of a grudge against a candidate that you're willing to basically bankrupt yourself just so they won't get elected. And you don't focus on the other party, you just focus on fighting amongst yourselves. And we really need to change that. We need to get rid of these people who really just want us fighting against ourselves, because that's kind of what is happening. Running DeSantis and funneling so much money into his campaign is going to split the party and make defeating Joe Biden that much harder. And we need to stop funneling so much money into an opposition candidate against Trump when Trump is clearly going to be the nominee. You can't fight somebody who is 32.4 points ahead of you. That is just not realistic. It's just not realistic. You're not going to do it. It's going to be a failure, and DeSantis needs to pull out. It's not going to work. It's just a big failure that is going to explode once he loses Florida. And yeah, that's it. Bye.